there are two parallel industries happening at the same time. There's the incumbent one, which is the music industry of, the pop artists, popular artists with large fan bases, which is the industry of music. And there's a new one that's coming along that involves millions of musicians and people coming in through TikTok, et cetera. And these are musicians who I think are not interested in the old model, namely, all my music's available for free on large platforms that make all the money and I make nothing, or I forfeit my future to get signed to some kind of central distributor or marketer. It's a different approach. And I think that we're going to see that population of artists overtake the artists of prior years. And I think it's not going to look like it did in the past, where it's big tentpole events, big promotions, high production costs, high production value. Those will exist. But I think it's going to be dwarfed by this population that are coming on and doing things in smaller ways. And I think once that audience of musicians gets its hands on an effective marketing tool, which so far it hasn't, it's going to just go through the roof. And the industry that 5 years from now will not look like it does today. And that to me is the most fascinating part of what's happening with online streaming, because it really has, it's put tools in the hands of musicians that can go it alone or go it on their own way. They haven't had an audience yet, but when you solve that, it's going to be something else.
Yeah, and as you say that, I sort of look back on the evolution of the music industry, and this began in many ways certainly long before the pandemic, long before even Pandora or Spotify. If you go back, the mid 1980s was sort of the last era of the huge blockbuster, where the blockbuster ruled everything, right? And we've had blips in between now and then with Beyonce and Coldplay and some of the artists that John mentioned, but the music industry as a whole, and I know we're focusing on music here, and that's partially because of who's on the panel, but the word has always been fragmentation, but that fragmentation has been producing things like Bandcamp and SoundCloud, where musicians are figuring out ways to monetize and connect with audiences that have never existed before.